All
All
right, we
right.
are ready.
All right. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining the ESSA Discretionary Grant Monitoring and Preparation webinar. I am Terry Manning-Ewell, the ESSA Compliance Manager, and I'm also joined by Vanessa Waters. She is the McKinney-Vento and Immigrant Grant Manager.
Good morning, everyone.
All right, today we will review the monitoring overview, how to access the monitoring instrument. We will have a monitoring walkthrough, and then we will end it with the reminders and technical assistance. Before we get into the monitoring overview, I want to take a quick moment to just remind you of the department's monitoring commitments. Our goal is to engage in meaningful and open dialogue to reduce the number of findings of noncompliance, to provide a comprehensive review of those monitored discretionary grants, to highlight areas that exceed requirements, to provide individualized technical assistance, and to also empower LEAs and schools to build on compliance and implement effective programs. The purpose of the ESSA discretionary grant monitoring is to ensure the appropriate use of federal funds, to document that funds are spent effectively, to ensure funds are used in accordance with the terms of the grant award, to document the measurement of performance goals, and to review needs to better inform technical assistance. The requirements outlined in the American Rescue Plan Act and other regulations mandate that the Tennessee Department of Education provide technical assistance to LEAs, as well as oversee and monitor the implementation of federal grants. All LEAs receiving funding through ARP Homeless 1.0, ARP Homeless 2.0, ARP Homeless Systems Navigator, and Title III Part 8 Immigrant Grant must participate in monitoring. The overview section of the monitoring instrument has fewer pages than what you're probably accustomed to with the RBM monitoring. You have your introduction and overview of monitoring process page. That includes the overview of the monitoring. It also includes instructions on how to access and submit the instrument. You have your assurances page that requires the LEA to check a box to sign off saying that the information entered into the instrument is accurate to the best of your knowledge. And then you have your ESSA discretionary grant monitoring pages. You have your ARP Homeless page that includes all 3 grants. And then you have your Title III Immigrant Grant page. And then you also have your related documents page. We will take a moment at the end to review the instrument in ePlan. So a few monitoring details. The ESSA discretionary grant is LEA level submission only. There are no school level or conversation components. The instrument opens February 1. That will be tomorrow. There are no uploads required. There are short answers, and there are also open responses. All of your responses must be for the current school year 22-23. LEAs will have the option to disable the entire page or section for grants that are not applicable. The instrument is due March 1, and monitoring results will be available by April 3rd. Accessing the discretionary grant monitoring instrument. All users must have the ESSA discretionary grant director role to access the monitoring instrument. Once the instrument is accessed, you will need to click the draft started at the top of the sections page to start the pre-work, to begin working in the instrument. All users with the grant director role for the monitored grants will be automatically assigned the ESSA Discretionary Grant Director role and no further action is required. Meaning, if you were currently in ePlan and you had the role of the ARP Homeless Director, the McKinney-Vento Director, or the Title III Immigrant Director role, you were automatically provided the ESSA Discretionary Grant Director role. For any new users, you would need to complete the ePlan LEA user access form to access the monitoring instrument. The instrument will open February 1st. There is no required evidence for this monitoring instrument. You do have the option to upload documents to provide additional information. If you choose to upload documentation, please be mindful of personally identifiable information. Your short answer questions require you to choose between agree and disagree from the drop-down box. If you choose disagree, you must provide a justification. Some pages and sections of the instrument have the option to choose not applicable or NA. If the user chooses agree, yes, or NA, there is no need to justify the response. Open response questions require a narrative. You must read each question or statement thoroughly to respond with enough information to address all elements of the question or statement. Remember, there are no interview components. Therefore, you must provide a thorough response to fully answer the questions. If you choose to provide additional documentation, please name and upload the document on the related documents page. All right, we're going to do the monitoring walkthrough. Once you are in ePlan, you want to select monitoring and then monitoring instruments from the left menu options. On that monitoring instruments page, you want to ensure that you have the current fiscal year 2023 and that you select ESSA Discretionary Grant Monitoring. Once you are in the instrument, you want to click Draft Started to begin working in the instrument. Pages that require LEA response begin with LEA. So these are the two pages that you will be working in to answer all responses. The LEA must complete both grant pages or select NA to submit the instrument. For example, if you did not receive any of the ARP Homeless grants, whether it was 1.0, 2.0, or Systems Navigator, you would have to access the page, check the box at the top to disable the entire page to submit the instrument and avoid any validation errors. You would do the same for Title III Immigrant if your LEA did not receive any Title III immigrant funds. If you received part of the homeless grants that are being monitored, but not the others, for example, if you receive ARP Homeless 2.0 and Systems Navigator, but you did not receive ARP Homeless 1.0, you would need to check the box at the top of each section to disable that particular section. So I did not receive ARP Homeless 1.0. I would check the box at the top of that sections page to disable all of the questions required for ARP Homeless 1.0. As I stated, your short answers require you to access the drop-down box and select agree, disagree, or NA. Disagree answers require a short explanation in the space provided. Your open responses require narratives. Answer the question completely, but do not provide more than what is asked. Again, your uploads are optional. You may use this option to provide additional information, and all of your documents must be clearly labeled. For example, you may want to upload your LEA's written process for procedures for tracking services. And again, do not upload personally identifiable information. After you complete all areas, you want to use that validation column of the sections page to confirm all items were completed. Once all requirements are completed, the ESSA Discretionary Grant Director must change the status to review. Then the Director of Schools must change the status to LEA Authorized Representative Approved to submit the completed instrument to the department. Here are some reminders. This is an overview of the ESSA Discretionary Grant monitoring process. I want to hone in on a few reminders here. This is an LEA level submission only. There are no school level or conversation components to this monitoring. No uploads are required. They are optional. Please ensure that you provide responses for the current school year. The LEA has the ability to disable the entire page or section for grants that are not applicable. We will also be offering office hours. And as another reminder, all funds must be expended and reimbursement requested by December 15th, 2024. And that's for all of your ARP homeless grants that are being monitored and your Title III grant that's being monitored in this process. All right, at this moment, we are going to have the instrument walkthrough with Miss Vanessa. She's going to share her screen, and we're going to go through the instrument in ePlan so that you become familiar with the process.
Okay, everyone, let's see here. So we're going to go ahead. I've already signed in, and we're going to scroll over to the monitoring where it says monitoring instruments in the blue box. And then, of course, you want to make sure that it's FY23. And then you want to do the ESSA Discretionary Grant Monitoring. You're going to click there. Got to make sure that you are starting your draft. Oh, so I've already started, I guess in test yesterday, we started. So you would hit draft started up here at the top, and you're going to go in. There's the overview, which kind of gives you a little bit of introduction and overview of the monitoring process. And then you want to choose which program you're going to be providing information for. So for the top, the LEA did not receive any of the following grants, and that would be either ARP 1, 2, or Systems Navigator. You would click this information, and the box will close. This is the agree, disagree that Terry was talking about when she was reviewing it on the slide deck. So she's going to go through there and click agree, disagree. If you disagree, you need to explain why you disagree with that. And then we're going to drop down to ARP 1.0. If you did receive ARP, then you would complete, the questions are the same in 1 and 2 of ARP. So you would click all the information there. If you did not receive ARP Homeless, you would mark that did not receive ARP Homeless 1 grant, and that will again close off that page too, and you will begin ARP Homeless 2.0. Again, you will put in your answers to all the questions, describe how the LEA identified the needs and priorities for the grant. And of course, because this is a test, I wrote test in. And then lastly, for the ARP, you're going to look at the Systems Navigator. If you did not receive the Systems Navigator, again, you're going to click in the little button to close that page. Okay, so then you're going to go back to you're going to navigate back to the sections page, and then you are going to complete the Title III. Again, if you do not have Title III Immigrant Grant, you're going to make sure that you disable this page or you will not be able to submit. Again, under the Title III Immigrant Discretionary Grants, the same questions we have for ARP Homeless. You're just going to close out the pages if you do not have those grants. So then you're going to toggle back to the sections page. And you're going to, if you have any related documents, they will go in here. You will upload them into the related documents. Page is not currently open, but once this opens tomorrow, you'll be able to upload any documents that you wish to add to your monitoring. And then once you've completed all of that, you will go to change your status, and you're going to complete the draft, and then it'll go on. So it says, I don't have the necessary changes to make the status, but you will have that. If you were able to start the application, you'll have the access to change the status, and then it'll go to the next level of review. Okay, I'm going to turn it back over to Terry.
Okay. All right, so as I stated, we will be hosting office hour sessions from 1 to 2 Central Time, 2 to 3 Eastern Time, every Wednesday from February the 1st to March 1st. You should have received that link in your email. And then our final page is the technical and point of contacts. If you have any questions, concerns, or need assistance with the monitoring instrument in general, please contact me. If you have any specific questions regarding the McKinney-Vento, the ARP Homeless, or the Immigrant Grant, please contact Ms. Vanessa Waters. Right? I want to thank you for your time. This concludes our presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach